Waterfront living in Metro Detroit comes with lots of perks, but it also comes with some serious risks.
Climate change contributing to the rising water levels, and some communities are struggling to stay afloat. Here's Fox 2's Derek Kevra with a look at how they're coping.
I thought the water was running in the shower downstairs. I thought somebody had left the water on. And it was pouring in here, cascading onto this, and then pouring down all along the floor over to the sump pump.
When Nikki Grotus and wife Kim bought their house in St. Clair Shores in July of 2018, canal water levels were already extremely high.
And I looked at these windows, and you can't now see the ledge to the windows, but the water was creeping up on it. And I asked neighbors, gosh, is the water going to get any higher? Because it'll be coming in those windows. Right. And they said, no, it's 5 feet higher than it's ever been. So you should be fine.
But it wasn't. Unlike her neighbors, Nikki's house doesn't have a seawall. Her concrete base is her only defense. And from the basement, you can see why that's a problem.
So the real threat is when we get above this, if it goes that 7 to 10 inches higher, it's now going to be where the wood is joined. So my fear is when it goes that high is all along that top horizontal line, it's just going to come in.
Obviously, a huge concern.
And all of our appliances, you know, our water heater and our furnace and everything's down there. If we take on water, we're in trouble.
The problem is one that has coastal communities drawing parallels to the record levels of 1986.
The heights that we were seeing during last summer were higher than what was experienced back in 1986, mid-80s, and that was kind of like the last time the lake was as high as this.
St. Clair Shores is doing all they can to upgrade and add water pumps to flood-prone areas, as well as provide sandbags to residents.
My neighbor texted me, hey, it looks like you're taking water and you've got water rising up to your door. I would run home and go to the city and just start making 3 truckloads of sandbags.
Right. But the question that city managers all over Southeast Michigan are asking, is this gonna end?
That, I think, is the big unknown with everything that's going on climate-wise, globally. You know, is this the new normal? Is this the start of what ultimately is going to be the new normal?
There's no evidence right now that we're substantially going to slow it down.
It's less unknown for climatologist and Michigan professor Richard Rood.
In my evaluation right now, the climate change is irreversible. When I say that, we're not going to reverse it in our lifetime, your children's lifetime, your grandchildren's lifetime.
Multiple deaths are being blamed on storms sweeping across the deep.
Professor Rood isn't alone. 97% of scientists agree with him. Since the start of the Industrial Revolution, we've been pumping carbon dioxide into the atmosphere through coal, oil, and natural gas.
Carbon dioxide is essentially acting like a blanket. It holds the heat closer to the surface for a while. So the heat accumulates in the lowest layer of the atmosphere.
The carbon dioxide levels continue to rise and rise and rise.
I believe that last year has settled in as the second warmest in the historical record, which then would make the last 5 years all in the top 5 of the record warm. And if you look all the way back to the year 2000, there's only 1 year that's not in that record.
These changes then impact our weather patterns.
We're definitely experiencing more extreme precipitation, stronger precipitation events.
The 60 months ending in December of 2019 were the wettest 60 months on record. Everything on here is referenced to the chart.
Lauren Fry works both for the Army Corps of Engineers and NOAA and says that ever since we bottomed out in 2013, it's been non-stop water.
Water levels are high primarily because Mother Nature has thrown a lot of water at us. The primary drivers of water levels are precipitation that falls directly on top of the lakes, runoff that's coming off of the land into the lakes, and then evaporation. So this would be minus evaporation from the lakes.
While the lack of ice cover this winter is then a good thing, the forecasts for the next 6 months aren't.
So it's like our best estimate forecast is above record high for the entire period. If we get dry conditions, we could maybe not get that record high, but if we get wetter conditions, then we'll really bust the record.
You're gonna smash the record.
Yeah.
A forecast that Nikki and others dealing with coastal flooding don't want to hear.
You know, the fear is that if you want to live on the canal, if it does go 10 inches higher, it's going to threaten not just my house, but it's going to threaten the seawalls all around me because they're all approved to a certain height. So if it comes in over my wall, it's coming in over theirs too.
Derek Kevra, Fox 2 News.